So why innovate and why now? And that's, a really good question. About 3 years ago, our trustees embarked on an extensive consultation process around our board strategic plan. And the plan was launched over a year ago. And we heard from community members, all different kinds of stakeholders, educators, parents, community members, students, around what they want in Thames Valley in the future. And one of the key strands was inspiring innovation. And so we're trying to figure that piece out, and we haven't done anything from a system perspective or anything intentionally. So this is really the first step on trying to describe what it is, what it looks like, and to really to give you the permission to do some interesting things within your schools and across schools. As a nation, we know that Canada is not doing well in the innovation area. And the World Economic Forum report indicated that in 2010, Canada was ranked 12th as the most innovative country in the world. And in 2014, we have slipped to 25th spot. So we are not doing well as a nation. You'll read a lot in publications around innovation and how government is really trying to inspire that within our country. And so the report also talked about one of the key challenges is for organizations and businesses and schools and all of our communities to really set the organizational culture so that people are encouraged to be innovative and to have the tools and training for that innovation. So we hope that you're going to explore some of those ideas today. Another key driver for the innovation strategy, particularly in our secondary schools, is that we, along with many other, not all boards in Ontario, are faced with declining enrollment. And so as a school district, we lost 1,000 students from last year to this year. That is in itself a school that we've lost within Thames Valley. We have several secondary schools where the population is less than 500 students, and in some cases declining. And so we need you to think about how to do things differently. We know that there are challenges in a secondary school when you have very small numbers. You can offer probably all the compulsory courses, but when you start looking at optional courses, that's when it becomes more difficult, especially when you're looking at staffing and trying to put the right staff within the right classrooms. We also know, and we will be releasing through our facilities department, Kevin Bushell and Sheila Powell have taken the leadership and have presented and did a lot of work around a secondary accommodation study. And that is going to be going to the board later this fall. And that provides a wealth of information about every secondary school in Thames Valley, what the population will look like over the next few years, and what some of the unique programs we have within those schools. We've also observed a number of students who are looking for alternative ways of learning, and we see students who are heading to the alt school and a number of different innovative programs, such as school within a college, school within a university, dual credits. They want, the tech courses. They want hands-on. They want something that is different to complement their secondary program. So we see that the numbers in alt are increasing, and so we have to ask the question, why would they leave your secondary school and want to head to something that is a little bit different? We have, and we've done a number of different forums on student voice, so we've heard from students that they want something different in their secondary education. They feel a lot of them are disengaged, and some of them, quite frankly, when we've done some district school reviews and we see students in classrooms, some of them are bored. They've told us this, and we need to think about what we can do to inspire and engage them. So we are looking to you for some ideas, creative ideas, and giving you the permission to look at your program, your school differently. We know that the students who are in our schools today are different from the students that we had 5 and 10 years ago. So we don't want to focus on the past. We want to look at the students of the present. You know, you don't want to talk about schooling in the future because we have kids in front of us right now that are uninspired. And so we need to think about how we can re-engage them. We also know much more about the brain and learning, and I know many of you have attended conferences and workshops about how students learn. So there's a wealth of information out there. So we challenge you to challenge the status quo on your school organization and your program delivery. What might happen if you flipped some of your programs or classes within your school? What might happen if you flipped your entire school? What if you had teachers teaching using technology and you scrapped all the textbooks and paper in your school? What would it look like if you went to a self-paced independent learning? And there are schools in Ontario that are set up that way. How about project-based learning? I'd like to show a video clip right now. It's a TED Talk video. Some of you may have seen Sir Ken Robinson on TED Talks. If you've had the good fortune of seeing him in person, incredible. We a couple of years ago through Paul McKenzie and a program, we were going to be partnering with Western to see if we could bring him into London, and he comes at a pretty hefty price tag. So we have to be creative in our financing. I'm really good on the one end. I'm really good at the spending end. Got other people to help me out on the saving end. But anyway, we'd like to show this video, and it's called Paperclip.
Great study done recently of divergent thinking. It's published a couple of years ago. Divergent thinking isn't the same thing as creativity. I define creativity as the process of having original ideas that have value. Divergent thinking isn't a synonym, but it's an essential capacity for creativity. It's the ability to see lots of possible answers to a question, lots of possible ways of interpreting a question, to think what Edward de Bono would probably call laterally, to think not just in linear or convergent ways, to see multiple answers, not one. So, I mean, there are tests for this. I mean, one kind of cod example would be people might be asked to say, how many uses can you think of for a paperclip? One of those routine questions. Most people might come up with 10 or 15. People who are good at this might come up with 200. And they do that by saying, well, could the paperclip be 200 foot tall and be made out of foam rubber? You know, like, does it have to be a paperclip as we know it, Jim? You know. Now, there are tests for this, and they gave them to 1,500 people. This is in a book called Breakpoint and Beyond. And on the protocol of the test, if you scored above a certain level, you'd be considered to be a genius at divergent thinking. Okay? So my question to you is, what percentage of the people tested, of the 1,500, scored at genius level for divergent thinking? Now, you need to know one more thing about them. These were kindergarten children. So what do you think? What percentage at genius level? 80. 80, okay. 98%. Now, the thing about this was it was a longitudinal study. So they retested the same children 5 years later, age of 8 to 10. What do you think? 50? They retested them again 5 years later, ages 13 to 15. You can see a trend here, can't you? Now, this tells an interesting story, because you could have imagined it going the other way, couldn't you? You start off not being very good, but you get better as you get older. But this shows two things. One is we all have this capacity, and two, it mostly deteriorates. Now, a lot of things have happened to these kids as they've grown up. A lot. But one of the most important things that happened to them, I'm convinced, is that by now they've become educated. You know, they've spent 10 years at school being told there's one answer, it's at the back. And don't look. And don't copy, because that's cheating. I mean, outside schools, that's called collaboration, you know, but inside schools. Now, this isn't because teachers want it this way, it's just because it happens that way. It's because it's in the gene pool of education. We have to think differently about human capacity. We have to get over this old conception of academic, non-academic, abstract, theoretical, vocational, and see it for what it is, a myth. Secondly, we have to recognize that most great learning happens in groups, that collaboration is the stuff of growth. If we atomize people and separate them and judge them separately, we form a kind of disjunction between them and their natural learning environment. And thirdly, it's crucially about the culture of our institutions, the habits of the institution and the habitats that they occupy.
Thank you. Some people want a roadmap for innovation, or they want a roadmap to the work that they're doing. We have no roadmap, so I'll just put that out on the table. And you are going to help us design that roadmap. You're going to engage in a number of discussions today, and it's going to, I know our staff are going to talk to you about how this day will unfold. Some of you may feel uncomfortable. Some of you may say, what the heck is this? But you need to go with it. We know that you are the innovators and the people that have the open minds. And you will learn from each other today. And it will take us into our November session. So as a key innovators, I'm challenging you to this task. I want you to be innovative, to be creative, to inspire, and to achieve. And innovate, create, and act now. And so we're turning this over to you to make it what you think you need to do in your school to further engage our students and allow them to become more successful. And just wanted to put the quote on the front screen by Abraham Lincoln, because I think it really sums up what we're attempting to do. Thanks very much, and enjoy your discussions today.